Okay,
Hi,
let's
this
go.
is Mariah Wicker and Cassie DW with KW here in Plymouth.
Welcome to Selling the South Shore, Real Estate in Real Life.
Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or live like a local, we've got you covered. Let's dive into today's topic.
This week's topic is we're noticing a little bit of a shift in the market recently, and our advice to sellers is a little different now than what it was back in 2020, 21. So Mariah, what have you noticed is the biggest difference for our sellers?
Yeah, so they actually even talked about this on $1 Million Listing a few weeks ago, LA. They're seeing the same things even at the $1 million price points. Buyers are just a little bit more picky. It used to be that buyers were willing to accept properties in any condition just because they were trying to buy while rates were really, really low and before the competition in the market showed up as appreciation and prices were where they are today. So people understood at that time, like, it really doesn't matter. I'm going to save money by buying this, doing the work myself, whatever. I just want a low interest rate and a perceivably lower price than what will be in 5 years from now. And there was also so much competition that buyers were really at the mercy of the seller. I mean, most homes listed, regardless of their condition, had at least, 8 offers. You know, sometimes like I had some like had 32 offers on them.
Yeah.
So
I think my most was in the 30s somewhere.
Yeah. So it was really crazy. And because of that competition, even if buyers necessarily weren't willing to accept properties in that condition, it removed their ability to even ask for credits, repairs, or whatever. If you wanted the house, you had to, pretty much show up with your checkbook and keep your mouth shut.
Yep. Take it as is and figure it out later.
Yeah, exactly. And where we are now is buyers, the competition shrunk a little bit. We're still seeing a lot of multiple offers. We're still seeing a lot of over asking. But when the competition goes from 30 to 3, the buyers maybe can be a little bit more choosy on what they want, and they can maybe ask for a couple of things. So we're seeing that the properties that are getting these great offers where the seller maintains leverage and gets the best deal are the properties that are really turnkey and have been prepared for the market. Like you said, 2022, you really could just take pictures, put a sign in the yard, put it in MLS, and people would come by the boatload
multiple
to purchase
offers.
your home. And it's just not the case anymore. You really have to price it well. And you also then have to, do a couple of things to spruce your place up a little bit to really make it shine. So here's what we recommend on the exterior. You want to just go back and forth?
Definitely.
So, and the reason why I picked these and have them on here is because they tend to have higher returns on investment. You're not going to make everything back dollar for dollar necessarily on what you spend, but you're increasing your saleability and your marketability. And some of them you will get 100% back on your investment. Maybe we're not going to change the list price, but it's going to be the difference between 1 offer and 10 offers. It's going to be the difference between an offer and a good offer, or even getting an offer in general.
At all, yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of these too are some things that come up on inspections a lot that the buyers will then try to negotiate. So if we can take a few of these off, the likelihood of you, again, keeping more money in your pocket are pretty high.
Yeah.
So, all right, what do we have for exterior?
Yeah. So first one I have on here is just doing a power wash. So renting a power washer, even like, hiring someone. We had our home soft wash. I had got a quote to have my exterior siding all redone, obviously exterior siding. Get all that redone. And it was in like the $20,000 range. And I was like, this is going to be eventually a rental property for me. I'm not doing that to this property right now. So I had a client that had their home soft washed. And when I went there on picture day, I actually drove by the house because I didn't even recognize it. And I was like, immediately, I need the name of this person. So it was exclusive power washing out of Pembroke.
Okay.
It was $400 to do my entire home. And I look like I have brand new shingles.
They look amazing.
Don't they look good? And we're going to now paint them so that they get sealed a little bit. But definitely a power wash. People don't want to see green mossy. It's gross. No. Just do a quick power wash. Maybe there's a neighborhood kid that will do it.
Yeah.
If you just need a couple of spots on your vinyl done. So that's first and foremost, power wash.
Definitely. And then painting the front door and then any trim with peeling paint. So peeling paint is something that comes up a lot in inspection time because of if you have a FHA or a VA buyer. It is something so simple, yet makes such a difference. And again, that first look of somebody entering your house, they're going to see the trim, they're going to walk through that front door. So to have something just be like nice, fresh, and looking good, they're going to get a good feeling stepping into it rather than instantly, before they've seen the inside, already putting dollar signs on how much they're going to have to fix.
Yeah. And when you maintain your home or give the appearance to the buyer that you've been maintaining and taking good care of it, it makes them feel that the rest of the house has been maintained and taken care of. They don't want to feel like the home's been neglected, and if they're going to inherit some problems that maybe aren't showing up today but will next year or 3 years down the road.
Yeah, definitely.
The next one is your curb appeal. So especially if you're selling in the fall and you last mulched in April or May, you just want to do another top layer of mulch just to really make it nice and bright. It won't be sun dried out or diluted at all. And weed the flower beds. Like, I know right now, like, my flowers look so good right now, but I also have a lot of weeds kind of coming through individually. So going through and weeding your flower beds, cutting the grass. The grass right now looks really good everywhere I'm seeing because it's trying those cold mornings.
Yep.
So you really want to work on your curb appeal.
Yep, definitely. Again, those first impressions matter so much before they ever even walk into the house.
That's another one. Again, like, there's always like neighborhood kids starting up little landscaping businesses that you can kind of leverage and support a little budding entrepreneur.
Yeah, right. Go to your local Facebook groups and see if
easy peasy.
Definitely. Now the next one is the roof. So buyers think roofs are very expensive. Big picture, they're not, and newer roofs are a major attraction to buyers, and old roofs are a deterrent. And that's so true. So I know so many of my buyers, that's always their first question. How does the roof look? Even when you get your, parents accompanying your buyers, it's always like, oh, that roof has 3 years left. And if you look into it, it is an expense. But that is one. I got quoted
$8,000 to replace my roof. That's really not bad. In the grand scheme of home ownership, I have a smaller home, but in the big picture of home ownership, $8,000 for something you're going to have for 30 years is really not bad. And as a homeowner, if yours is leaking or you're having issues, it might be worth replacing it versus a buyer walk from your property. I just had a buyer walk from a property over a roof, and I'm like, you could replace that for like 10 grand and resell this for 50 over what you're paying.
But it's a big, because it's, the top of your house, it's important. But so if you're able to, and your roof does need it, having a newer roof is going to be a huge positive thing for buyers.
Next one up is removing the trash or any like worn yard items. Like, I feel like, I don't know about you guys, but we were outside a ton in May, June, July. I spent a lot of time in my yard in like the spring and early summer in making my yard really nice. And then like August came and we were like never home. And I haven't really been outside in my own. I've been outside, just not in my yard in probably like 6 weeks. And I looked back the other day and like I've got toys all over the yard. I've got like my husband like trimmed our vegetable garden and like threw a pile of stuff in the corner. Like, someone needs to go back there and clean it up. It's not going to be me, but so and even like the cushions for your outdoor furniture. Those they get tear
dingy and
like the sun damages them. So you want to make sure if you've got trash or really worn out yard items for the year, get rid of them or replace them.
Awesome. So that about wraps up the outside. How about the inside? What should you start with?
So if you have, if your house is painted and it's fine, I wouldn't go crazy with repainting every single room. Maybe just do some touch-ups. Like, I have young children. So, if you take a close look at my baseboards and around the home, you might find some tomato sauce or chocolate milk, or, someone threw a Hot Wheel and now there's a little bit of a hole in the wall. You probably want to go through and touch those things up. I don't know that you need to necessarily repaint your entire space. However, if you have a lime green room or a
bright
room that
purple.
was or you wanted to do a statement wall or an accent wall 15 years ago and you haven't changed it, just go over it with like pewter. Revere pewter is a great gray that people love. Something that's like warm and neutral, like these colors in this room are perfect. If you want a little bit of contrast with two different colors. But yeah, you want to go over any bold colors with something light and airy.
Yeah, definitely. And then moving on to your HVAC. So if you have central air or just your furnace, oil tank, anything like that, it's always a good idea to get it serviced. Something that I know I look at with my buyers is check to see when was the last time it was serviced, who serviced it, and then sometimes I'll even make a phone call just to check in on, what is it looking like. You'll know in an inspection, they'll take a look at it, and if things are broken, again, that's just dollar signs that they're going to tick off of what they want to pay. So if we can get those, fixed right at the beginning, then whatever you're getting offered isn't going to go down.
Exactly. And that's why right from the get-go, we put out there the ages of things, because you don't want a buyer coming after the home inspection and saying, oh, the HVAC system was, from 2012 or something like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't really, we know that.
Yeah.
You're not selling a home that has a brand new system. So it's really good to put those dates in there so that the buyer doesn't come back to you having perceived it to have been brand new when we never said that.
Exactly.
And even like central air. So my home that when I bought it had all the ductwork already done because I forced air, and we installed central air and only cost us $3,000.
Wow.
And again, a small home, so we just needed the one unit out there, and we had a friend do the installation, but I'm sure that increased my value by 10.
Oh, easily.
So that's, people perceive adding central air to be about $10,000. It was only $3,000 for us. And in New England, you need AC.
Yeah. So makes a big difference. And then what else do you see for inside? Yeah.
So this one, cosmetic updates to dated kitchens and bathrooms. This one can be a little bit more pricey. It really depends on how outdated things are, right? So maybe you're not going to update the whole kitchen or the whole bathroom. Maybe you're going to paint the cabinets something light, and maybe you're just going to replace the countertops. Like, you're not going to do a whole new remodel of the entire kitchen.
Yeah.
But same thing. Countertops are not that expensive.
No.
But if you've got like Formica countertops, you can probably get something for just a couple, $1,000 and replace it. That's something that's going to really attract a buyer. Maybe throw in a new vanity. It doesn't have to be high end or anything like that, but something that is updated.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then I think I talked about it a little bit with the HVAC, but your oil tank. So those, they last quite a long time, but if there's an oil spill, there's a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you have to get the DEP involved, and
yeah,
people get a little weary when it comes to old oil tanks. So if you're able to, and you have an oil tank that's 40, 50 years old, it's a good idea to look into it. I actually had a buyer recently, in order to replace the oil tank, it was going to be, I want to say like $3,400.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's kind of a little bit of money if you don't have a lot of extra. However, if you have it and you're able to, again, that's just going to be things that, dollar signs that they're not going to take away when they're looking at your house.
Right, exactly. And you don't have to do all of these things. If you're like, oh, I need all these things, then maybe we just price it accordingly and you pick one or two.
Yep.
Right? Like, I'd focus on the exterior stuff because that tends to be really cheap and affordable and things that a lot of homeowners can do on their own. This interior stuff, now you're getting to a little bit bigger projects. But exactly, and we're seeing a lot of buyers right now because of some of the things that happened back in the last 4 or 5 years where buyers were waiving inspections, and then oil tanks, not often, but there was one big story where the oil tank went. A lot of insurance companies now want you to have a rider, and in order to get that rider on their insurance company for the protection, they require you to have an HVAC technician, the oil tech, come out and fill out a piece of paper. So if you want to increase your marketability, the oil tank one is a big one.
Yeah, definitely. And some like easy things to do are light switches, outlet covers, doorknob fixtures.
Yeah.
Those are very low cost, easy to do yourself. But it just makes it look good, clean.
Mm-hmm.
It's things projects you're not going to have to do in the future as a buyer.
Mm-hmm.
And buyers like that.
Yeah. It makes it like, especially if someone was a smoker in the home and they're like dingy and yellow. I'm just going to give this little plug for any flippers out there. Please stop painting the outlet covers and the switches just white.
Just replace them.
Yeah, just replace them. It's so easy. I went to a house yesterday and they were just like painted right over like the door, like the window turn. Like just replace them instead of painting over. Everyone can see it. And if you're going to at least like do a good job and go over and like, you shouldn't see brush strokes.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, definitely. Next one, mold remediation. We're in New England. We have 4 seasons. The likelihood that an attic has mold,
I'd say 60% of the time, if
at
not
least,
more.
Yeah. So, attic should have multiple airflow things. Your soffit vents, your hood ridge, something like that. I don't know. Our home inspector always tells us the best things that people should have, but mold a lot of times is in the attic, and getting it restored, again, it can be in those probably like $5,000.
I usually have them like 15, maybe 3,000,
okay.
1,500. I mean,
1,500, not 1,000.
Yeah, no, pretty affordable. But you don't want a buyer to find it on a home inspection.
Yes. And again, mold is something that is so scary to some people, especially if they have asthma or health issues. I know for a buyer of mine, like that was it. The house was perfect, loved everything else. It had mold in the attic, and they didn't even want to like entertain anything at all. And then ended up, backing out of that deal. So mold remediation, something big if you can get it done.
The next one is sealing settlement cracks. So cracks in foundations are super common. And we have a guy that we work with, A1 Crack Repair and Foundation. So Rich, the crack man. I have called him so many times on inspection, sent him videos or FaceTimed with him and had him look at things. And then maybe if he feels he needs to come out. But sealing those settlement cracks so that you can provide the buyer with proof that it's been evaluated by somebody with an engineering or structural background to give confidence that the house isn't going anywhere, it's settled, and this is what the crack is from. But sealing it so that it doesn't get worse over time or any water to come in is huge.
Yeah, definitely. And then most importantly, something that our team does is decluttering and staging.
Yeah.
So we've seen firsthand what staging can do for a property. And it can mean thousands of dollars for something as little as decluttering, picking things up, making people, really giving them the feel when they walk into the house like it is theirs, and they can picture the rest of their stuff in there.
And just things like to not distract them, from the sale. And it's not that like your taste is bad. It's not what we're saying, but we know what looks the best in the eye of the buyer. And that's what we're trying to do. So it's something that I always tell my sellers that I'm happy to come in and do for them. I think some people like feel uncomfortable having people touch their stuff, but if you can just mentally, remove yourself from your home and let us come in and just, move things around just for pictures. You can put everything back right after, but for pictures, it's huge.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that's kind of it for our list of, repairs and such that really will give you that extra boost when listing your home.
Yeah. So if you're thinking of selling, you can reach out to us and we're happy to provide you with this list or come through and tell you what, recommendations we'd be making on your home, because not every home needs all of these. These are the ones that personally I feel are highest on return on investment and easiest to do.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys have any questions, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to our page, and tune in next week to see what's up next.